Hi, everyone. Tonight with the Gauntlet, we are playing the second of our two sessions of Dream Aflame. Dream Aflame is a Belong Inside Belong game by Quintessential Gaming. Um, and yeah, it's kind of a witches slash cowboys weird Western game. So my name is Donna, my pronouns are he, him, and I'll introduce my character as well. I'm playing Jareth, also he, him, who is the Marked. He is on the run from the preacher whose heart he broke, whose name is Crozier. And I guess because we had a short amount of play last week, we did not really see Jarth in action, though he was like hiding in the necromotive in their conveyance. Um, sorry, necromotive is the name I came up for a conveyance when I was writing the play report to post video. So I guess that may have stuck. So let's get a round of introductions from our players and their characters. Let's start from the left in the character keeper.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Don't confuse me with left and right.
Sorry.
Not one of my strengths. But anyway, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns. I can tell left and right apart, obviously. And I am playing Bones, the sentenced. Bones is a necromancer. Yes, and that is sadly in some benighted laws, people say that's illegal for whatever reasons, right? Well, he was sentenced to go to this place called Wick, which is apparently not a very nice place and far from the center of the bright universe. And now he's here. And one of the things he did, though, interestingly enough, was he revived a person. Well, he didn't revive him, he raised him. And that was not a good call because that person had a broken heart. And if you raise a person with a broken heart, they tend to go like they are very unruly, and then they are out for revenge or have their heart unbroken or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, necromancy obviously is an art. There is an art to to feel the power, the strength, the magic, and where it's supposed to go. Some people say otherwise, but they're wrong, clearly. Bones has a little zombie dog called Knuckles, yes. And Knuckles is not very large, and Knuckles is not very bright, but Knuckles is very loyal, and And Bones thinks Knuckles is cute, but everybody else thinks Knuckles is an abomination.
Thanks, Sabine. Jim, you're muted.
Hi, I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Harold, the faithful. Also, he, him pronoun. He also uses he, him pronouns. And Harold is here. Harold is in Wick, seeking a blessing of a beacon of hope. Basically, he's been spent a lot of his later life being a beacon of hope to everyone else, and he's feeling a little, he can still do it, but he's feeling a little emptied by it. And he is certain that and one of the pieces of his kind of hopefulness he puts out to people is that people all have, no one is so broken that they're beyond redemption, and he thinks that's also, I guess, true of the world, and is looking for this beacon of hope. He has a crow that comes in and out of his life, which is usually a scavenger, but seems to not pay any attention to Bones's dog one way or the other. Certainly not if he were a corpse, he'd be probably more interested in him. Yeah, okay, that's good.
Great, thanks, Jim. Mario.
Yeah, hey, my name is Mario, use they them pronouns, and I'm going to play the professor who does not concern themselves with pronouns and other social constructs. Therefore, they are rejecting God. And because God does not exist, it's merely there is this huge void that is life and chaos all around it, and you just have to put the chaos into number and then everything works out. That's why if you do necromancy, you have to do it like with all the right measurements, most importantly the right amount of candles as we've established, and yeah, just make sure that that you do not revive anyone with a broken heart. That tends to go wrong, and putting chaos in numbers is one thing, but putting real strong feelings in numbers, that's way harder. So we focus on the scientific aspects of necromancy first, and once we figured that out, we can deal with feelings and such. So yeah, as you've heard, quite a science guy here, and yeah, we also want to do some necromancy, and we come with a bed, which is quite helpful because there's something with sonic and shadows and stuff, and I'm sure that is a way to master necromancy as well. So yeah.
Awesome. So when last we saw our four travelers, we were leaving this side of a flood, which was made because the bones that were holding back the water in the dam were created into some necromantic snake. So we hightailed it out of there after some shenanigans. And I think the last thing we saw at the top of the hill overlooking our route was Crozier on some kind of a zombie horse too, if I recall the details correctly. So I guess we're just traveling. As ever, any one of us can take up one of the situations. One of the three situations: the wicked, the wild, or the weird. If we want to, there's some guidance on when to take hold and when to release. So I think most recently Mario was playing the weird, and previously I played the wild. But of course, there's nothing to say that we have to pick those up again. Okay. So does anyone have any ideas, or maybe we want to seat ourselves in character for a while before we get into our next troublesome encounter?
I have the vague idea that we might head for Wig because we need supplies, because yeah, we can't eat the necromotive. And anyway, yeah, I think we should go to Wig. I don't know. Bones really wants to, but maybe somebody else does.
I would have Avery we could introduce something gory just to to get back in. And I think we see like a nice little river stream that is it got some rapid, bit of white water, and we can see that the damage we've done last time is leaking into it. So we've seen the swamp becoming even like the trees in the swamp becoming somewhat skeletal looking, right? And I think within this river, we can see that the blood is turning reddish and brownish, and occasionally it looks a bit bloody, and occasionally it just looks like some weird gory mixture of, I don't know, you could call dirt, but it resembles vomit way better. So it's getting quite nasty around here. And of course we ignore it. It's just the viewers that see that, right?
That's lovely. Yeah, I think what you also see, or what we also see, is some wildlife being either fascinated or repulsed by this new feature of the economy. So we will see some fish trying to leave the water. They're not precisely fish, right? They're sort of on the way of becoming amphibious, but maybe not quite there yet. So this is not very healthy for what they're doing there. But there are others. There are sort of raptors, birds with large, almost metallic feathers that are absolutely happy to help these amphibious creatures achieve a higher viewpoint, at least until they let them go and so they can eat them later. Yeah.
This is obviously not the place where the creatures are always gentle and sweet. You know, this is a different place.
Well, maybe they meant it nicely.
Maybe we've just ruined it.
That's not impossible. And it's not impossible that we did it. I mean, yeah.
Do we think that there is like a settlement? I know you mentioned going to Wick. I think the way the background is described is like the whole land is Wick, and there's like no permanent settlements, but there's got to be there's got to be like a tent city or a caravan city or something like that.
Oh, caravan city, I like that. Like a city that's always kind of on the move, but not so. If you stand there and look, you can see maybe some people moving their tent, but it's not like this thing is moving at a very slow pace.
Yeah, for sure.
Tiny house nation, perfect.
Oh, well, they don't have much. I think when we come there, the river is still clear. Maybe a little bit of indication. This is the same river, so that will come here sooner rather than later. But right now it looks clear-ish, let's say. At least when we enter the area where the tent city is behind it, it probably is again pretty gross because people tend to throw stuff in the water that they don't need anymore. So yeah, tent city. Now yeah, let's do some paint the scene questions, huh? I mean that seems a good idea for a game of belonging outside belonging, right? Having paint the scene questions.
Are you picking up the wicked, so Sabine?
Yeah, a little.
Okay.
A little. I have no idea where I'm going with this. That's paint the scene questions. I think I would like to know from each of you either something nasty or something nice that you encountered when you were in the tent city for the last time. And I'll go last because I invented the question, but I will tell you what Bones did or not once I've thought of it. But Mario, how about you?
I go with something nice. And at first I didn't pay much attention to it because I thought it to be quite mundane. But some of those geniuses come up with a campfire wagon, so to speak.
Mhm.
So it's a bronze. It's a wagon made out of bronze, and there are these huge fire pits in there, and they assembled somewhat of an oven at one point, and at the other point it's just like a couple of stakes where you could grill whatever you hunted, and stuff like that. And after a while, I noticed that it's so functional that even the professor made a couple of notes in their notebook, and of course, told the guy who came up with the idea 4 hours worth of improvements.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that person was mostly nodding, occasionally turning over steak or whatever was pinned to the ovens, and you learned later that he had a deaf ear, and he was turning that towards you. Not he could hear you; he can hear in the other one. So, but still.
Then he got the same good ideas as I had, because I could see things that changed with that wagon, and one of the things that is new, and I think I recommended it, that was now you have adjustable, now you can adjust the levels of the oven, and you can adjust it to get the right temperature for bread and pancake and whatnot.
Well, he will never admit that. Actually, you're right. That he took the idea from you. He will never admit that.
Yeah. Okay.
He came up with the idea right after you talked to him. So, but he will not admit any kind of improvement came from someone else.
I feel the professor might have plenty of time to tell everybody that they did wrong with incorporating
okay.
his ideas, right?
Oh, well, okay. So this guy really does not care for you that much. Okay. Nice. We have what's his name? Do you have an idea?
The professor would not have remembered his name, because that guy is not important enough after all. If you remember, it took the professor about 2 months until he finally memorized bones, which is actually not too hard.
No,
it just didn't care, right? So
okay, cool. So the oven guy. Okay, Jim, what about you? Nasty or nice?
So the last time I was here, there was the healer's tent, where I was actually called to see if I could help on the spiritual side with Crozier, who ended up dying there, and I did try to heal his heart, his broken heart there, but failed. And this is not, I'm kind of an ecumenical sort of faithful, so these particular healers were somehow involved in snakes and lizards were really kind of their focus, and what they thought was the really holy act was the renewal that comes when a snake or lizard sheds its skin.
Oh, wow.
It has a new skin.
What do you think? Were these the 3 lovers, libertine and lethal? Were those the healers?
Oh, I think I missed that.
They're on the situations tab, where we have the wicked, where we already have chosen some connections. I'm just throwing that out here. If you think that doesn't fit it, then there is somebody else who has a fascination with snakes and lizards.
Sure. Let's. I think tying things together is great.
Okay.
So what do we know about them? So they are. Oh, they're just connections.
Yeah, they're just connections. They're free lovers, libertine and lethal, and also they're healers, which is well, it's kind of fitting.
Oh,
right?
three lovers, and the description of them is that they're libertine and lethal. Right. Well, right. Given that some snakes actually eat their skin after they shed it.
Ooh, really? Wow, didn't know that.
Let's for now, let's say that that's true. So there's a certain. I mean, if this doesn't. I mean, I don't want to go towards
no, let's not, please.
There, but you know, there is a certain you know, they're very. I guess they're very self-interested, right? Because if as we say, snakes actually do eat their own skin, it's completely for their benefit.
Anyway, but maybe these three healers, after you fail to heal Crozier's heart, maybe they called someone to raise him up again because they were interested to see what would happen. That was maybe a mistake. Maybe.
Right. Well, one of Crozier's lovers was Jorith, right?
We don't know what Jorith did to break his heart.
Okay.
That I don't know that, and Donna has not blessed us with that knowledge.
I mean, I don't even know that yet, but that's the way I'm leaning.
Yeah.
So I guess it's me. I think the last time I was here, I found myself in a caravan by myself, maybe a little bit addled or a little bit tipsy, but inside that caravan there were all of these masks hanging on the wall. And they started speaking to me and shouting at me and berating me for all the mistakes I've ever made. And when I tried to get out, I think one of them, or, you know, they kind of came alive even more so and maybe, you know, bit me or did something like that to me. You know, as I put my hand to like open the door, you know, maybe there's also a mask on the inside of the doorknob, and it bit me as well. So yes, that was a kind of a nightmarish place.
How did you get out?
I think I may have like broken off the handle and just kicked it open or something like that.
Okay, brute force then.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let's think. What did Bones see? Oh yeah, what he saw was a graveyard caravan, I guess. So it was just a really not pretty looking caravan with a grubby, no, not a grubby, with the old woman and wig at the not helm, but where you would drive the caravan, right? That's hers, and she gathers bones, skulls mostly, and she keeps them in there and says, she wouldn't. When Bones came and said, "Hey, Bones, interesting," she was not very amused. She does not like necromancy or any like that, stuff like that, because that is wrong. And people who are dead should remain dead, because those who died, there was always a reason for that. And you don't mess around with that. That will always go wrong, especially in Wick. She's never seen any good come out of necromancy. Never. So she was very adamant that she would not show Bones or Knuckles anything from her graveyard wagon. No, go away. Shush. or she would sick her dog on Bones, and that is a dog that draws the wagon, right? So it's big, and it has two heads, and it bites. So Bones kind of wandered off. He did not attempt to get into the wagon because that dog looked really nasty, and Knuckles was afraid. So, and there were enough other Bones around for him to play with anyway. So, yeah, cool. Now we've got an idea about what are we doing when we come there? Is there anyone we want to go? Anyone we want to speak to?
I want to ask Bones, Mr. Bones, you did get that crate, right?
Yes, Mr. Professor, I did get that crate.
Ah, perfect. Let me open it.
Remind me what I did with the crate, because
you went back and collected that one for me, and you said there's just like a bunch of half-rotted meat or something in there.
Right. The move I used was something like take a meaningless trinket. Right, that was what I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So I think what you find in there is maybe not meat, but some herbs and a book that tells you about how to make tea with these herbs. And it's a very mundane book. It's not about tea that will let you see stuff. No, it's like, here's mint, make a tea with it that tastes good and will make you feel warm.
Such a treasure. That's quite perfect. I will head over to the kitchen wagon and bring that to that wannabe chef and see if he followed up on my improvement ideas.
You know, he hates you, Mr. Professor, right?
Yeah, I don't mind him. He will. After all, he always does what I told him. So I don't mind. He can be rude as much as he wants, and he just needs to get a dinner ready and a tea or a coffee prepared. Am I right?
Yeah, one day he'll poison you just out of spite. I mean, some days I'm tempted to poison you.
Yeah, I don't mind that, because with my knowledge and my superior skills, I'm certain somebody will awaken me. So I will have an afterlife here in a week and continue with my studies. I don't really mind that.
Okay, I mean, you won't die of a broken heart anytime soon, I guess.
I don't think so. I'm way too busy. I'm way too busy with my science. Yeah, that is no love and such matters. That's just too mundane. That's.
You're beyond such earthly concerns, right?
Oh, I must admit, Mr. Bones, I'm quite impressed. Your people skills become quite good. You really been doing a lot of work on yourself lately. Yeah, I feel you came a long way. And with this speed, if you continue in such a manner, you will have some grand adventures and some great treasures or whatever you're looking for. I'm certain you'll have a bright future.
That's so good of you to say, Mr. Professor. I truly treasure it.
So glad we're on the same page. I'll head off then and come back with dinner.
Or not, if you're poisoned.
Then again, it might take a bit longer, and I will come back with tea and coffee as an undead. Don't worry.
And yeah, as he's leaving, Bones is saying that, man, he will get himself poisoned, and whoever raises him, I don't know.
I think it might not go well with the broken heart rule. Many people who say their hearts can never be broken actually had them broken so long ago and so deeply that they've made a lifetime vow to stay as far away from it as possible.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know though. I don't know if he knows how to have his heart broken. He doesn't. Yeah, maybe you're right. But you know, the thing is, don't we all have our hearts broken at one time? Just a matter. I think what someone who you want to raise can have is like freshly torn apart, right?
Mm.
If he was the professor had his heart broken, it's possible it's scabbed over a long time. There is a iron wall made of science and facts around it, and yeah, and a confidence that I don't know if it's real. Seems a bit brittle, but hey, I'm kind of tempted to just poison him myself just to see what would happen.
Just to prove yourself right. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have any poison, any useful poison though.
But you got some useless poison.
Yeah, but what? Me? Point now. Where would I have useless poisoning?
Your dog looks rather poisonous.
Yeah, but I won't brew poison for my dog just for the professor. I mean, I like my dog. I half like the professor, okay, but half.
Well, I think it's like falling out of a tree. You don't need much practice to do it right the first time.
How do you do it right?
You fall and you hit the ground. Maybe you break something. Maybe you don't.
I feel if you do it right, you wouldn't break something. That seems an art that, yeah. Well, anyway, not many trees where I go. Yeah. Let's see how the professor is doing with the oven guy.
Okay.
I mean, if that's or do you want to do something else before we switch over to that?
I mean, I don't really have an idea. That could be off-scene. I just want to give that guy the herbs and tea brewing book thing because he really needs that stuff.
He doesn't think so.
Well, they are always short on rations.
Yeah, but they can't eat books.
But there are some tea leaves in there as well.
Oh.
Or herbs or something.
Yeah, well, that's
okay.
Great. People will love that if I offer them tea. Sure thing. Are you paying with that for all the stuff that you want here?
No, that is just a nice gesture of me.
I'm so grateful.
As much as I love numbers, I'm not a man of economics, so I don't really mind sharing.
Yeah, but I might.
Well, it's my treasure after all.
Yeah,
I asked you to do me a favor and collect it for me.
Fine.
But I've got so many tokens. I want to do something useful.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And I'm just looking.
So do you have a different amount of tokens than it says in the character keeper?
I've got 3.
A lot of tokens.
Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place. Oh, I am looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So I want to figure out how to talk to the graveyard wagon lady. And I'll do that with create something useful. I take the herbs, and I bring that to the kitchen guy, and I give him half of it, and I ask him to enhance them into, like, I don't know, some potions or whatnot, and take the potions I get from him to the graveyard lady, so and give her that for free.
Oh,
And hope I'm getting a favor for it, or might be able to peek into her wagon and see her wonderful collection of skulls and bones.
I love that. Okay, so you're, yeah, go ahead, Jim. Sorry. Were you saying something? No? Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, so the kitchen, is that the kitchen guy is the same guy who doesn't much like you? Okay, he will try to rip you off, right? He will create your potions, sure, but he will take the rest. It won't be an equitable exchange, but as you said, economics are not your strength, so yeah.
Is there a possibility of Jareth helping Professor out? You know, maybe I can help with the research.
You can help by talking to the people
you're about to piss off, or have
I
already
piss off, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so I will have a chat with the kitchen guy, the owner of this bronze wagon, which you're a fan of, and maybe distract him, or just let him, if he is angry, he can maybe take it out on me. I don't know, but maybe I just kind of talk to him and calm him down when he sees the professor.
Yeah, he just wishes that guy would learn his name. It's not that hard.
Yeah, what is his name?
Tombstone.
Tombstone. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that hard, right? Because I don't know, it's kind of something everybody eventually needs. Like I am someone that everybody eventually needs with the kitchen. So it makes sense, right?
You'd think that, yeah. But hey, Professor still calls me "Hey you," so.
That's that. But wait, that's not your name.
That is not my name.
Wow, I surely thought that was your name.
Yeah, well, it's Jareth Tombstone. So pleased to meet you.
Okay, yeah, nice to meet you. Sorry about the "hey you" thing.
Miss kitchen guy, I've seen the improvements. You did quite well on them. They could be a bit more polished, but overall, great job, I'd say.
He hands you a polishing rag. If you want to polish them, be my guest.
I mean, with such delicate mechanics and machinery, you should learn it yourself. I can't be around and take care of your business all the time.
But you're the one who's bothered by them not being polished properly. I'm not. Are you bothered by them not being properly polished, Doris?
Excuse me. It is just if you polish them properly, the maintenance afterward. Oh, sorry, internet is bad again. The maintenance afterwards will be way easier. So just do it right for once, and you will be rewarded down the line. So look, it goes like this. You always move in circles,
Doris,
right?
Doris, I'm about to take this this fork and poke it into him really deeply. So
when you're finished, will you pass the fork on to me? Because I'll begin. What he does is he like whispers to our necromotive. Like he just like polishes it and whispers. I don't know who is the more hypnotized, the brass plate or him and his own reflection.
I don't care. This thing is just the thing, and you can whisper to it all you like. It won't react.
Yeah, and that is why you still have to move around with such heavy wagons, and without me, you wouldn't even have a kitchen wagon.
That's wrong, but Professor, here's your potion. Do with it whatever you want, but
Thank
get
you.
out of my hair, please.
Thank you, that is quite helpful. And remember, always in circles, just around the clock, right?
He's just about to polish the professor. Jordan, maybe you should do something. What do you do? Because
he's lunging at him with the fork.
no, he has this polishing rag, and he's just about to wipe it in the professor's face because he's right now. He's just like, okay, this guy, he needs to be polished a bit.
I mean, yeah, I think I'll step in the way. And I'll maybe, has he handed over the
he has handed over the potions. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will just leave myself vulnerable then. I will just step in the way and like kind of like smack his hand out of the way for out of the way of the professor, and just kind of square up to him a little bit, even though I'm even like taking a half step back when I do so.
Yeah, take your token for aiding the professor in his research, and I feel, Professor, take a token for putting yourself in danger.
Yeah, right. That is a thing I do. Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's just cut over to Harold right now. I want to see what are you doing, Harold?
Well, Harold is trying to think about. Oops, excuse me. I had a foot cramp.
Oh no.
Harold is trying to think about how to sink his teeth into this situation, and is really thinking of maybe going back to that lizard healing tent.
Cool.
And kind of chatting with some of his clerical homies. Because he's new here, and the last time he tried to commune, it didn't really work, and so he has concerns. I mean, he has confidence and concerns, and they're warring within him.
Okay. So are we saying that these healers, lovers, are also of the clerical bend?
Well, they're part of this lizard regeneration cult.
Oh yeah, okay. Lizard regeneration. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. So as you come up, I mean, there are some minor injuries. There are always some minor injuries. People tend to have stomach problems because eating the right stuff is hard.
Right. Well, with all these like goths and necromancers here, there's food, there's often some putrid food around.
There aren't that many necromancers around. I mean, there are some, yeah, sure, because it's a crime, and necromancers tend to get sent here. It's true. So there are a lot of necromancers. Oh, then I know what Bones is doing. Yeah. So, but you arrive at the tent, and as I said, there are a few people here, and and one of the lizard resurrection cults, the one that they call morning. There are the others, two are noon and evening. There's presumably midnight, but we've never seen them, right? You only see morning, noon, and evening. Yeah. And you know what? I think does somebody who's doing the weird? Somebody want to have Crozier be there? Because we only have 1 hour left, I think, and we have two.
Yeah, I think we got to find. I think having Crozier there would be great. And was one of the last places he was when he was alive.
Yeah, right.
Can we have Crozier just riding in and sneaking up behind you?
Oh yeah,
Okay, perfect. I can do Crozier.
Do Crozier, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if we want to confront Jareth with Crozier, or is it just the both of you?
I think let's just open with Harold and Crozier and then see.
Yeah, okay.
All right, should we take a break right now? Because that might be a good moment to take a break. When we see Harold walking up to the healer's tent and a morning standing at the entrance, and then behind Harold, the shadow of Crozier and his not very alive horse falls.
A perfect place to take an ad break if this was a TV show, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we say 5 past, maybe? Is that a good break?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. See you.
Okay. Back from our cliffhanger. So
it sounds like Mario is doing the weird over at the Lizard Regeneration Cult tent.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm about to add pictures. If and I already gave one picture the name Morning. Just if you're interested.
Nice.
Yeah, and if something does not suit your imagination, just change it, I guess.
That picture has been waiting in my apocalypse world board for a moment to be used.
It's from my trophy dark board, so yeah. Nice. Okay. So what was it? Morning, noon, and dawn. Okay, perfect.
No, morning, noon, and evening.
Evening. Okay.
Right. So we don't want to have morning and dawn, right?
That is true.
Although it's a sprawling family,
okay.
right?
Okay.
They all look pretty femme.
Yeah, I mean, lizard cults, why not, right? Lizards aren't necessarily the most masculine animals around, so
like snakes, nothing masculine about them at all.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't know. I don't anthropomorphize gender, human gender roles onto animals, but then that's because I am in real life a Gauntlet scientist. So
okay. I'd say the moment you just have a sneak peek through the curtain just in front of that tent or wagon or whatever they're in, you see that a heavy cloud of smoke is coming through, and beyond that there is a lot of people in a lot of makeup, probably just a bunch of coal they painted their faces and bodies with. They have like just barely some cloth covering their, I don't know, genitalia and some random body parts, so it looks quite rugged, but in a strange way elegant. And they are about to ritually peel some fruits and vegetables and offer the skin in a religious practice to their lizard goddess they're about to worship.
I like that.
And it's while you were standing outside, it was quite okay. But the moment you enter the tent, the smoke is quite heavy, and with every breath, you get more and more dizzy. There might be something hallucinogenic or something like that in that smokeware, because all of a sudden whoever's entering the tent has the strange idea that some of those people in there actually are about to grow themselves lizard tails. And yeah, for sane people, that might be smoke, but for religious people, who knows what deity helps them, right? And without any question, you're welcomed in their midst. And a sharp knife and a fruit is offered to you in anticipation of you peeling it and offering it to the lizard god.
Sure. I know to be a good guest. So the only one I see is morning at this point.
At least that's the one closest to you in this
Okay.
thick smoke.
Okay. And
yeah.
so I haven't noticed Crozier, because we kind of mentioned the possibility of him reappearing. So so I do this. I for me, this is the equivalent of a hi, hello, and a handshake. It's, and I've been here. I've been here before, so I'm familiar with this, and I've steeled myself for the mild distraction that comes from inhaling the smoke. Since this was sort of a kind of a working condition. When I was here before, and I say, hello, morning again. You recall our last time together, and I've explored more of Wick since I was last here, and I've admire the centrality of renewal that you have in your faith, and I tried to welcome in the powers of nature to help in a situation. And of course, unless that flood came in this direction, in which case they already know about it, but I'm not going to mention exactly what happened unless necessary. And it wasn't there. And I came to this place knowing that there were fewer distractions from. I think there are fewer distractions here.
Jim,
from.
Should we
Yes.
wait for Mario to be back? I'm sorry to jump in.
Oh,
but
I'm sorry.
I
No,
think...
that was great. No, thank you for pointing that out. I was,
Yeah, you were caught in the moment. It's fine.
I was in my mind's eye.
Yeah, I noticed, but I think Mario deserves to hear
Oh no,
it.
absolutely. Oh well, yeah, obviously. No, thank you for pointing that out. That's never happened to me before.
Morning is obviously in a daze as the ritual begins.
Yes, suddenly everyone you're talking to disappears. You feel like you're talking to yourself.
That's probably because of the hallucinogenic, right? Is there a tail you're growing? Probably not. Why would you grow a tail?
Well, lizards do regrow their tails.
I know, I'm aware. I like lizards. Lizards are fun.
Do you, Sabine, do you want to see bones somewhere?
Yeah, Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
see Bones
Yeah.
somewhere.
Okay.
I want to see Bones in trouble somewhere because I think, yeah, there are other necromancers about, as we've just posited. And I think Bones thinks, much like Professor Bones, is a bit in love with his own abilities, right? Because most necromancers, let's face it, they can make a few bones dance around, and that's it. They can't raise somebody from the dead. They're just amateurs, basically. And also they all got caught. Okay, Bones got caught as well, but
Yeah.
but it was in a grand opus and not in some run-of-the-mill necromancy in a graveyard or digging up a tomb or something like that. No, so Bones has a bit of an opinion about himself, and he does not try. And I think most of the other necromancers, yeah, they don't care for his attitude and also for his necromancy is an art. You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. What are you doing with the candles there? No, you can't place them there. That's wrong. That's just. And why are they red? Who likes red candles anyway? You don't use red candles. Never. Yeah, Mario, we switched over to Bones since you weren't there. And he is just soliloquizing because Bones has an opinion about the other necromancers that is not very favorable because they're all amateurs compared to him, right?
Right. And
Do you think the three peoples here are all a little bit creepy, and they who grin, eternally optimistic pilgrims, and the masked yet faceless. Do you have any preference for who you could have a run-in with?
It's certainly they who grin.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that is perfect. Because you know who grins? Skulls.
So maybe do you think their faces are cadaverous, or maybe like, I don't know, they've done some bizarre ritual that removes their lips or something?
Yeah, maybe they use some kind of you know, like wires and stuff to draw out their lips and draw up their lips, like yeah,
like some kind of dental thing.
Yeah. They can take, presumably they can take them off. And I think they have a great set of teeth that they deem holy. And Bones wanted to see what that was up with that, and he was trying to steal some of, not steal, to take some of them just for, you know, art purposes. And maybe they caught him red-handed.
Trying to steal some of their teeth?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we picture like Bones just like, you know, like kneeling on top of one of these, like with a pliers or something like this?
No, they have teeth. They have holy teeth that they gather around, that they keep in great chalices, that they rattle to make pleasing sounds and stuff like that. And Bones just walks up like, I have no care in the world, and then dips his hand in and just takes some of them. And of course, it did not go quite as unnoticed as he hoped it would.
Okay. Is there... You're getting caught red-handed, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just checking the move.
You know what? Maybe these teeth are biting him.
I was thinking that would be a fun thing too.
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah.
So they're sort of animating, chewing on you.
Yeah, that's why you got caught red-handed, quite literally red-handed. Oh.
And I think, you know, you can, I don't know, like you get a feeling in your skull like of a toothache, right? And or like when you have a cavity and the wind is just hitting it.
Ow. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. My last visit to the dentist was on Friday and was there for 4 hours. I can certainly relate.
So, and I think at your, maybe you leave out a yelp of pain.
Yeah.
And a couple of these just like pop their heads over of, you know, this freakish grin looking at you, right? Now I'm thinking of the gentleman in Buffy and the Hush episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, they see the blood running down your hand, the
Mhm.
teeth attached,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think they walk over to you, very slowly, ominously,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think their teeth start to chatter because maybe they want to.
Oh, bite me too. Okay,
Well, I think I'm making a credible threat, right? But
yeah, you. I think Bones will say, lift his hand and says, "Hey, I think I've got what I came for. Nice outfit you have here. Pretty teeth. Ow. And have you thought of looking into other bones, maybe?" And he's moving away.
we are looking into another bones right now, and they start moving a little bit quicker.
Oh yeah, I think I need to oh yeah, I know what I mean. I'm a necromancer, right? There are a lot of bones and teeth around here, so I need to distract them, and I will because yeah, the maybe not the teeth and the big chalices, but they have also, I think, hung up some bones just for nice decor value, and behind them these bones will start to reconstruct themselves into some approximation, at least, of a figure. And Bones will say, "Hey, look, those bones over there, they might be more interesting than mine. Mine are hidden and boring anyway. But these over there, they kind of rise up and start to dance a very disjointed jig."
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I think their heads turn at a very strange angle over at this dance macabre,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I think I don't know, it's like they're maybe reminding you if you've ever seen honeybees kind of dance around each other and the bones to try to figure out what's going on or to communicate with each other. So now I think you've distracted them, right?
I think Bones is leaving with the teeth. They are still in his hand after all, because he wants to figure out what animates you. Stop that! Ouch!
Okay,
but he's taking
awesome.
them. He's
Yeah.
taking them. They're his now.
There's no burrowing, so you're gonna pick them out with the pliers or tweezers or something.
Yeah.
Later
I mean,
on.
they try to borrow that necromancer, right?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Just grow a few bone spurs and they'll stop. It's not particularly pleasant, but it works.
Okay, so I think let's cut back to Harold in the tent with Morning. Jim, do you want to go back to that scene?
Sure. I'm not sure where, let's see, unmuted. Okay. Mario, I'm not sure exactly where you dropped off. I was sort of in my head as I was describing what was going on, and Sabine pointed out that you had vanished. So
yeah, it was on and off, but I hear a description of you that you joined in, that you have been there before, and you know the rituals, and you know how to deal with them, and you're not and you haven't been overwhelmed by the smoke and the incense.
I am interested in I don't seem to be able to summon blessing in this land. And I wonder if I have been forsaken or what I need to do to be able to do that.
Oh, and while you're wondering and observing this, there is a firm grip from behind and a firm grip on your shoulder, and the grip gets tighter and tighter, and it's quite obvious that the person behind you doesn't want to hurt you, but does want to let you feel that it is a powerful person. So what do you do?
I will see. So I'll turn in the direction of that hand on my shoulder.
Okay.
And what do I see?
You see Crozier.
Oh,
You've seen him riding into this settlement as well at the very beginning, and he showed up, and he has a smirk in his face and says, "Oh, does a shepherd who became lost become a sheep rather than a human being?"
I am both. One does not stop being a sheep when one becomes a shepherd.
You've always been that foolish. How are you supposed to lead those who follow you? You don't know the answers that you're so desperately looking for. You're supposed to guide people, not to be lost yourself.
As I told you before, you have to see the answers are within yourself. I am just helping you. I am just helping you look.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I do have all the answers.
Well, that would be a change. That's good.
I've been dead, and in that world between, I found all the answers that there are. You're just afraid to follow me.
Are you asking to kill me?
That would be such a delight. No, I'm here to guide you because you clearly aren't a shepherd anymore. You're looking amongst lizards for answers.
And I turn to our host, and I'm like, there are many answers everywhere. The lizards have their wisdom, and the cult of Skira here, cult the ministry of Skira here has specialized in it. And in fact, they have no need for resurrection or bringing back the dead, because they have eternal renewal.
Such blasphemous words. I taught you the ways of the one and only God. You should know better. You should know better. I'm so disappointed. Maybe it would be mercy to kill you. Don't you think?
There would be nothing. There is nothing to be gained, because we are complete in ourselves.
Okay, let me look here.
So I'm acting with righteous conviction, which is sort of my,
Okay.
kind of my neither way move.
Yeah.
So Crozier, your heart was broken in life, and I knew that you had healing and answers within you. How now that you know so much, how can I help you heal your heart? So I'm going to spend a token for that, because that's bringing him into the faith.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with me. I surpassed myself. I replaced my heart with the one true God. don't you see? I am the prophecy. I am the one that is leading the whole land towards its destiny. I am the one true shepherd. But I think what you get from that is that that Crozier changed his godly beliefs for a rather dark, probably somewhat sadistic death cult, right? So he now worships death above anything else. What we did not really establish if we have like a Christian God or what the original belief system was. So, but Crozier certainly changed. As I think a weird process of grieving, right?
A weird process of grieving. I would say that he's I feel that in the changes that you've gone through, I think I grieve that you've lost something. There was that spark of beauty and delight that was always in you that seems to have receded. It's kind of a harsh thing to say to someone, but
and there is a bit of change in his attitude. And Crozier says, well, you only can lose so much until you have to fill yourself back up again. And I found just the way. I don't think that living humans are worth it anymore. They are not worth the attention. They are not worth the energy. I found the one true God that rules above all else. Don't you see? There's so much you can accomplish in death.
Clearly you so I stretch out my arms and say, I hope that you can see the goodness that I've seen over and over again in people and in their coming to themselves and their redemption. And I'm gonna throw a wield the power of divinity in here and do kind of a sort of a mind meldy kind of thing. So I am sharing my most spiritual experiences that I've had over the course of my life with Crozier through the power of my token.
Okay. Crozier definitely is tearing up at this point. And you can see that he's got a bunch of bird feathers sticking to his head, but they're mostly gone. It's only like fractions of feathers, right? And they obviously feathers he got from Jorith at some point, because they just resemble Jorith's wing. Well, I might have been wrong. Maybe you're not totally lost. Maybe there is. Maybe you see a path ahead of you, but I can't let you cause that kind of harm. And he pulls out a knife, and he's going to stab you.
Okay.
Maybe
I don't really know this system. I don't know that there's any.
No, that's just narratively.
Right. I wouldn't know how to do combat.
I mean,
I think at this point I'm going to just step back to the smokiest part.
You've got that sharp knife with you, right? From the peeling scene earlier. So you're
right. Yeah,
capable of defending. Yeah.
my little peeler.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim, mechanically, right? All you need is a token to defeat the unworthy, right?
Yeah. Well, I just spent my last token.
Yeah. So, and you spent 2 tokens. So if you don't want to get harmed, I think you're totally fine at this point to just that you just had enough leverage to defend yourself, right?
I was wondering perhaps Jareth could intervene.
Sure.
I would love to see Jareth.
Yeah. I do have a strong move, react on instinct and confront your fears. So
yes,
I am now confronting the thing I've been running from.
Yeah.
So, for whatever purpose, Jareth has been just walking around, and I think I recognize the horse tied up at the witch's tent, undead and bedraggled as it is. And yeah, I think I rush in to confront Crozier before he can stick Harold with that wicked knife.
And whenever Crozier sees you in his weak moment, he shouts, he yells, "Oh Lord, have mercy. Why do I have endured such punishment?" And then he snips back into his evil twin personality again, and says, Oh, now I see. You've come to pay for your sins.
My sins?
Yes. Embrace death. I am here to enlighten you. And Crozier steps forward with the knife, still with the knife out, and certainly happy to cut you down if you leave him.
So I guess the question I have is why won't you leave me alone? But he's kind of just answer that in a very single-minded way. So instead, I guess some of these questions are to the player, right, instead of the character. So I have a question that is, how do I make you fear me? If that makes sense.
So what was that?
The question is, how do I make you fear me?
Oh wow. That I think that is rather easy. If you get through to him and remind him of his broken heart, he'll lose it. It's just like we've seen with Harold a few seconds ago.
Right. In other words, Jorith, Harold has sort of pre-cooked the omelet a little bit here.
Yeah. So I have a couple of really good regular moves that really lean into that. So I'm going to kind of step in to leave myself vulnerable. Maybe the knife he's holding, I kind of basically let it press up against my coat. And I'm going to ask him, like, what are you really afraid of?
Oh. And he's pressing the knife somewhere against your torso, and he's leaning in, and there's something something gentle about the way he's doing that in a weird way. And he says, oh, so you're ready, you're willing to give back. You stole my heart, and now you can repay me with a few drops of your heart's blood.
And I mean, I'm freezing rather than fleeing,
Yeah.
which, and I don't think I'm speaking for like a couple of heartbeats or what seems like an eternity.
Okay. And if that's okay, I'm gonna make it a bit weirder here. Just stop me if you're uncomfortable with it. And he's leaning in, and he's kissing you on the neck, just like in old days, and whispering into your ear, just make it even so we can restart. Just a few drops of your heart's blood.
So yeah, I'm gonna say.
And that is actually a move, right? Because I offer a trade.
Yeah.
All right. So how are you with swinging with the undead?
I'm gonna like whisper to him to like cut me so I'll have a scar that I can't forget you.
And
that's not a move. That's just
yeah. And indeed, you feel the knife piercing your chest. It's not, you're surprised, it's not terribly hurtful. It's a almost a kind a kind sting. It's just a little burn. And it's not even as bad as the stress you felt before, about at the stress that has been haunting you all these years. Who can tell in a week, right? And he then pulls out the knife and licks a few drops of blood from the blade and says, most delicious. most delicious. I am glad we came to terms after all these years. But I'm afraid I'm not looking for love anymore. I found something greater than love. If you want to join me, we can be reunited in death. And he holds out a hand.
And I think I'm gonna unwrap the holy symbol that's around my glove, and I'm gonna just place it into his hand and say, when you return to your faith, we will speak again.
And he's trying to answer, and you're not sure if it's because of the symbol, but all the sound just gets stuck in his throat, and it looks like he's silently gagging on the words he was about to speak, and then shuts up. And there's a shadow mixing into his tearing eyes, or teared up eyes, and there is affection, but there is also hatred coming back.
So Harold leans in at this point, since it seems opportune, and says, "Pray with me, Brother Crozier."
He's opening the mouth again, unable to speak. Are you does kneeling or how does a prayer look like?
Yeah, I was thinking that kneeling would work. I mean, he often touches the earth when he prays. Touches the earth with his hand.
Okay.
And by often, I mean once, but
And it looks, while having this in one hand, this knife, and in the other hand, the religious symbol, just a knee on the right side where he's holding, on the left side where he's holding the religious symbol. The left knee is giving in, and he's going down a bit. He's getting unstable. And then he's cutting his left wrist, and there's just dust coming out of it. There's no blood in the body anymore. Just some sort of dust, I guess. And in that way, he's able to resist. But I think it's quite clear that he's not able to deal with a religious symbol and two faithful people, and he's dropping the symbol and heading for his horse.
So at this point, I'll look at Jorith and say, this has really got to be about you. Should we pursue this?
Yeah, maybe. Do we think Bones is like coming towards the tent as Crozier exits?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his magic that he feels there, so he'll look it up, because right now he has to deal with these teeth. I mean, he has got the teeth under control, but his hand is a bit of a mess now. Not a painful mess, but it looks kind of weird because he had to outgrow some bones to get rid of those teeth, and it looks weird. And he just looks at Crozier and says, I know you.
And now that Crozier got rid of the symbol, he's able to speak again. You.
Oh,
I
you.
must thank you.
Yeah.
You enlightened me.
Ah, yeah. Well, you know, that is not how it's supposed to work.
Oh, you just didn't experience it yourself.
Yeah, and I don't want. That break in your heart goes deep into your soul, my friend, and it yearns for something to fill it up, and nothing ever will.
Wisdom goes so much further than love ever could. Love, people tried it with love. It accomplished nothing but turned this land into.
And are you content then?
A wasteland.
And are you content then? Happy within yourself?
It's never. Love is not a forever state, but this wisdom and knowledge. You always can rely. There's wisdom just overcomes time.
Yeah, I guess. Odd. Very odd. Have you killed Joris yet?
I'm afraid that has not been in my powers, but
You want? Oh, you and your wisdom. Yeah.
I think it is destiny that he's joining me.
There he is again.
And back.
And he's back.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sorry, I just got cut out in the middle of that confrontation.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get to where Crozier was like, yes, and I will bring you all with me, and I'm the Messiah now, and something like that?
I just got the he will bring Jarth with him. It's his destiny.
Yeah.
Before
And
I cut
then
out.
It got a bit more megalomaniac
Okay.
after that.
Of course.
And Bones is like, yeah, I don't think you will, my friend. But you know, who knows? World's a crazy place.
And the world is full of death. So death is the most powerful of all the gods roaming this land.
Yeah, you know what's also full of? It's full of life. So
there could be life without death, but there's no death without life.
I mean, in the end, death wins. It's true, but we're not there yet.
It is hesitation. Believe in it.
I will be dead soon enough.
Why cling on to this imperfect body?
To create a true masterpiece.
No, if you can't recognize the height of your arts, if you can't recognize your very own masterpiece, might have come.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so. I think I'm looking. I assume part of your here.
I think we're just kind of back in the tent, which I think is right.
Maybe we're outside of the tent right now. At the entrance.
Yeah, Maybe we've exited at this stage. Right?
Another coward. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
What did you say, Doris?
Sorry, I was just saying.
Or-
But yeah, I'm breaking up a lot.
Huh?
I'm
Yeah.
breaking up a lot.
I think he froze.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Let me try my necromancy on your internet. The greatest work yet.
Yeah. How about we take a 5-minute break, and I'll see what I can do
Sure.
about my internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
all right. Great.
See you.
Okay, so the rites have been performed on the internet, and it appears to be okay.
Yeah. It's my
Famous
necromancy.
last words.
Yeah.
we made the proper libations and followed the tenets.
Yeah, right. Those are the regular moves.
Those are the regular moves.
We spent some tokens, and now it's working perfectly. Yeah, back to the scene. I think Bones will step up to Crozier as he's soliloquizing again, and will say, "No, this was a mistake. You know what? You're not leading any armies or anything. I can't take away everything I gave you, but I can take away a lot." And he reaches his hand out, and this creepy kind of bony, weird, overgrown hand, and just you can just see some sort of energy being siphoned of Crozier, and he looks more skeletal and more dead, because before it looked like he was perfectly alive, but now you can see the skin stretch over his bones, and he looks undead. The horse falls down. The horse is dead now. And Bones stumbles back and kind of sits down and looks a bit like, that was hard.
I think maybe if it makes sense, Crozier drops to his knees, maybe almost in the weakness obviously, but I think maybe he, like Harold does, wants to make contact with the earth to give him strength. In a kind of a memory of his old practices. And Jareth comes up behind him, and I kind of see Crozier is very tall, right? But I think Jareth comes behind him to embrace him, and whispers in his ear, "You didn't deserve what I did to you," and takes off his hat, and then slowly puts that necklace on with the holy symbol around his neck.
Oh, can we have one pretty much like a final stand here? And when you're saying you did not deserve that, Crozier says, "Oh well, you gave me so much more than I've ever had. You just don't know it. Let me show you the powers and the knowledge you can achieve through death." And we see the graveyard wagon rumbling.
Ooh.
And then we can see slowly just singular bones sort of crawling towards us, and then building up a fellowship of skeleton worshippers, something like that. And Crozier's
I'm sorry, but I feel that invalidates totally the move that I just did, taking away his power, right?
Oh,
because
you did the move already.
Yeah,
okay.
I did that. I'm sorry, but I feel that if you feel that we should do that later, and then it might take some time so that he can do these things, then yeah, sure. Then
we're aiming towards the end. How do you feel about a compromise where he did that just before you did the move?
Yes, that's fine. That he did that, and I'm just and because of that, I started to do that to take away his powers, because
absolutely.
but the skeletons are still moving around.
So,
Oh,
so like
wow.
all of the skeletons are coming in, obviously
These are the
at
skeletons
Crozier's behest,
the
but then
skeletons that followed you from the other place, Bones?
Sorry?
Are these the skeletons that followed you from the other place, or are these the skeletons that you animated?
No, these are the skeletons that he animated. I didn't
Yeah.
do anything about that. I'm not, I didn't animate all of it, but I can't de-animate them right now because I'm exhausted from de-animating Crozier.
Mhm.
So somebody has to deal with him, maybe?
And Crozier makes a gesture. With both hands, he reaches for the skies, but all of a sudden there's a clear disconnect because between the skeleton army and Crozier, and the skeletons just wander around and do not obey any of Crozier's commands anymore. That's how we see that his power got taken away.
Yeah,
right?
I like that. That's cool.
No, 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 no. I've earned it. What? Where did my powers go? No, no, no. Give me back my powers. This is not right. And he starts cutting himself, but just a bit of more dust and nothing happens.
Other Crozier, this is actually your blessing.
No, no. These powers were promised to me. Again, you stole something from me. No, I won't let you get away with this. And he's just frantically turning around and just stepping the air with his knife. You all need to pay for this. This is not right. I earned it. Give me back my powers.
You didn't earn nothing, my friend. You just died of a broken heart. How's that earning something? Lots of people have broken hearts, not all of them die of it.
I spent years in the between. I've been to service of death. Do you know how many I killed in the service of death?
Oh, well,
I've
thank
earned
you.
this power.
So is this like a good point for that necklace to go on around his neck and
Yeah.
cut off his diatribe?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. And you wanted him to fall on his knees, right?
Yeah, I think it like the weakness, and then like it's a good position for me to give him that embrace and whisper in his ear and put the necklace on in that position, I think.
And again, his voice starts failing him. No, no, no. I've been freed. I've been freed of all of this. Don't put me back into these shackles. I've been freed of it. So was there any other move we haven't?
I mean, I don't know, Jim. I think this is a good opportunity for Harold to follow the tenets and maybe sacrifice something to bring Crozier to peace. I don't know.
Well, it's a confusing thing. I mean, we know this as players. Him being a shadow of me, I think if he dissipates, does that mean that I dissipate?
That would be quite a powerful sacrifice.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess since it's the end of the game, I'm okay with that. Well, so let's do it. I had been thinking about doing some kind of a merging thing. So I will give him a hug, and you see our forms kind of merge. merge in one another, and I'm not sure what's left after that. Is there nothing, or
No.
is there me with both sides of myself reintegrated, or
I
this is
mean,
getting really Jungian, but
I mean, there for sure there's some small pile of ashes, right? But I think I want to know from Donna what symbol of love did you once give to Crozier that is now left on top of this pile of ash?
Ooh, can we have a flashback maybe how you broke his heart, because we don't even
Oh,
know that
yes.
yet. Please.
Yes.
that would be great.
Please.
Yeah, right. That's the big hanging question.
Yeah, so I think we have a flashback to the old land where we lived before we came to Wick, and I think maybe Jarth saw something of this kind of darkness that was within Crozier, and had for a long time kind of ignored it. But he had maybe refused to follow Crozier into Wax. Crozier was planning on preaching in that land, and Jarth wouldn't come with him because he was afraid of what he would find there. And I think, prompted by I think Crozier had left behind. So I think you had described his hat with all of these feathers in it, and I think the kind of lone feather from an angel that Jarth still has in his hat is like the last remaining whole one of those. And Crozier had given one of those feathers, all of which were whole at the time, to Jarth. And still Jarth wouldn't follow him.
I think Crozier would keep that one complete feather as a necklace, so it wouldn't get ruined by the harsh storms he's been through. So it's only revealed after Crozier starts to crumble, right? After the clothes become loose. Yeah, that is pretty. I think that is a real beautiful image. Do you think you I imagine like blending back and forth between your memories of your past and what's happening right now, like Crozier dissolving. Do you think Crozier would reach out? Like, would he remember and hold on to the love you once shared in his last moments?
Yeah, I think maybe in those kind of panicking moments, there's a moment where he almost tries to stab Jarth with that knife, but at the last moment, I think in a kind of a mirror image of the way it happened in the tent, it reaches and then he just drops it, and he reaches out to touch just that wound on his chest, on Jarth's chest, and then like the final ashes kind of disintegrate.
Yeah. And the wind is carrying a whisper away that says, "I'm sorry."
I'm looking at our weird situation, and one of the things that we didn't have was the south wind captured. So maybe the south wind is what blows away the ashes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that that my crow flies away with the wind and the ashes.
Oh, wow. So your crow is actually like
well, he's my familiar, so he's
but is he also like sort of a messenger between worlds or something like that. Is that a
You know, I don't think so, because Harold is not that interested and sees death as kind of a an infatuation that some people have.
Land that is so close to death all the time. I think that is a fair judgment, right? Yeah, I think with that, we've seen the last of Crozier.
Mhm.
And his horse.
Yeah.
That that opens up the stage for the professor.
Yeah. Just
something-
stumble into the scene totally oblivious.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're on a playing ground. That's why I designed the kitchen wagon. Yeah, next time you start a fire, do that over there. Also, something quite interesting happened to me while I was researching the graveyard wagon. I put on 23 candles, and that was just for to see Mr. Bones. I think that we should. Oh, the bones are here.
Yeah. They didn't.
Huh. I wonder how I manipulated them.
You didn't.
Yeah, he's not really listening.
Yeah, I know.
He's
I'm just
like
Bones
thinking out loud.
And then he turns to Joris and says, "You know what? I think at one point someone should kiss that guy and see that would make him shut up."
That just might work.
Mm-hmm. You think?
Yeah, but
Okay.
maybe not me.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of.
I wouldn't want to break anyone's heart.
Oh,
Don't.
I think I just spend a token then,
Mm-hmm.
and have a moment of great insight. And I think at that very moment, Evening steps out of the tent, and I don't know. There is like he just locks eyes with the professor, and they're both like the professor wouldn't stop talking, but they both step closer, eyeing each other, and then just kissing them, just very intuitionally. And that is the first time the professor actually is awake and shuts up.
Bones looks a little disappointed, but says, "Well, okay, then I guess that's that.
Happy
Taken
end.
care of." Yeah, for you maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, like we said, I think that's a good place to wrap.
Mhm.
Maybe with an
Yeah.
epilogue, an extra epilogue.
Mhm.
Has anyone got any ideas to start?
Joining on while they are riding into sunset.
Are they looking for midnight?
Oh yeah,
then?
oh yeah. They are polyamorous. That's for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I think Bones is what's he doing? Oh yeah, sure. You remember these grinning guys at looking into what can you do with teeth, actually. I mean, they're still bone. And yeah, he will create a piece of art of the piece of art, but he will bring it to the those who grin and say, and like a gesture of apology, I guess, and maybe they will grin at him and take him into their tent, and what happens there, well, who knows? Art, maybe, or death, or both.
So the back in the healing tent, morning turns to two other figures that emerge out of the smoke and says, though I did not expect it, thus passes, the greatest prophet of hope and redemption of this age. And I don't know. I don't know where to turn from him now. We still have, mother snake and renewal, but my hope for the overall redemption of all, I think, is less now.
I think Jareth maybe does not continue with the others, and maybe finds a berth with another caravan here. Maybe asks for the kitchen guy Tombstone to put him up for a while, as they seem to get on a little bit better. So yeah, I think he'll still wander, but maybe with a different group of people for now. But I guess maybe, yeah, I think the last thing we see of him will be maybe gathering up the ashes into an urn, and putting the feather inside it or whatever, and putting it into an ossuary or whatever the graveyard wagon still is around. So he's traveling with Crozier, so, from a certain point of view. Okay, so I guess epilogue's out of the way. I'll stop the recording and we'll do a quick debrief.